Okay, today we're going to talk about linear patterns or linear drum rolls for that lesson. Linear drum rolls. So what is a linear pattern or drum rolls or drum beat is when you're playing something and you don't play two notes at the same time. You're playing series of single notes. So one note at a time, but you create a pattern with it. It can be a pattern of 4, 6, 5, 7, any numbers of note, but what is a little bit more complicated and difficult with these one is to keep a steady tempo. So it's not like a regular drum beat where you have your hi-hat that you can rely on, and then you got a steady pattern, and then you can fix or set the rest around and on it. This is totally your inner clock that is dictating how you should go. So there's chance you want to make sure that you don't speed up or slowing down like this. So you want to make sure you keep a steady 16 note, because all the pattern that I just played were 16 notes pattern. 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana. Yo, so for the first one, and then I did some pattern in 5. 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana. 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana. So you got pattern of 5, patterns of 3, and that's when you do those pattern of 5 or 3 over the 6th note that it becomes a little bit more complex, because 5 doesn't subdivide equal in 16. So you got 3 times 5, 15 plus 1, 16. So you got 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana, 1. So got to add that note here. So when you play those patterns, it's a little bit harder to keep a steady, even timing. So linear means that you're creating a pattern by playing one note at a time. You don't get that 2 notes at a time. It's only one note. This is a linear pattern, because you're playing a series of notes with your right, left, and right and left, and you actually don't play 2 notes at the same time. You just play 1 note at a time, and then you create a 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, and so on and so on. So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit harder to play tight and steady with those. That's why at the beginning I played it with the metronome. So the metronome is the tool that you need to practice those, to make sure that your tempo is even. You don't speed up, you don't slow down. So I'm gonna put them apart a little bit. So we're gonna start with the first one Okay, we are in the second part of our video about linear drum rolls. I changed shirt. I noticed that I had an old shirt, orange shirt, not really good, so I changed it. So now I look better for the video. Yeah, kind of. All right, so what I said is I said that I'm going to take them apart, so explain each and every one. I did basically 4 patterns based all on 16 notes or 32 notes. 16 notes is 1 measure, 2 measures are 32 notes. So you count 2 times 1 iana, 2 iana, 3 iana, 4 iana, and so on. So 2 times 16, 32. So I played each of those patterns 2 times. The first time on 1 measure, the second time on 2 measures. So the first one was pretty much simple. It was 4 notes basically. So you divide 16 by 4, well, you got 4. So you got 4 patterns. 1 iana, 2 iana, 3 iana, 4 iana. And then the second time when I played it, I added 6s in it. So I played the 4 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 times 6, 12, plus 4, 16. So 1 iana, 2 iana, 3 iana, 4 iana. So that was the first one. So 32 notes. So the first one is fairly easy because it's basically 4 and 6 notes, which is easier to place into 16 notes or 32 notes. The second one is different though. The second one is 5 notes. So on the first part I reversed something there. So it's basically you cannot divide evenly 16 into 5. So on the first part of the video I said the opposite, divided 5 by 16, so that was wrong. So you cannot divide 16 by 5. So you got 3 times 5, which is 15, and then note 16. So 1 iana, yeah, that's it. 1 iana, 2 iana, 3 iana, 4 iana. So 16 note. No, when I was playing the beat, and then the second time I played it on 2 measures, so 32 notes. So now if you got 32 and you divide that by 5, again you don't have something square there. So you got 6 times 5, 30 plus 2, 32. So that's what I did. I did 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 2. Like so. So 32 notes with patterns of 5. 1 E, N, A, 2 E, N, A, 3 E, N, A, 4 E, N, So that explained the second one. At the beginning, you saw that I played all these patterns with the metronome. When it gets time to, first of all, you want to practice the pattern even. So you make sure that you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. You don't want to go like skipping something there. So you want to make sure that that beat is split in 5. So, or not that beat, but you can go 1. But that's not what we're doing now. We're spreading the 5 over 16 notes or 32 notes. But you want to make sure what I want to get there, where I want to get is that you want to make sure that those 5s are even. So it's not 3 and 2, it's 5. It's a group of 5. So it stays rhythmically, it stays even. Even if sonically it's not. Because you got snare and bass drum are 2 different sound too. So that's what gives these drum rolls some kind of a, when you hear that the first time you can say that's weird, that's odd, but that's because the way you orchestrate it around the kit. You know, so it's, you can go it's 5 notes all around, but I played 5, 5, 5, 5, so it doesn't, but if you go, and on top of that you play it over 16 notes, then it's not only sonically, but it's rhythmically, it's kind of odd there. So that's why when you practice that, you want to make sure that you can actually play that even. What I suggest is that because we work on 16 notes, so what you can do is that take your metronome, put it, let's say, at a comfortable, not too fast there, let's say 60. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So I played the pattern of 5 over 16 notes. So I always go, and then I start again. So you want to make sure that you can play these patterns even first. And the metronome, that way, see, it's 16 notes. So I know that I'm not speeding up or slowing down. I know that I got the right subdivision there. And at the beginning I played it, I think I was, the metronome was in 8 notes or something like that. So, and a little bit faster. So I played it at 98 because I feel, I do feel that they all sound pretty good at that tempo, you know. Some will sound better, slower, or faster, it depends. But that's what you have to do first, you know. Make sure that you can play those 5 notes even, and that you can play those 5 notes into the 16 notes, and then over 2 bars or 2 measures over 32 notes. So that's basically the second one. Over 2 measured, and I'm going to do it. Wait, I'm going to do it with the metronome there. We were at 98. There. I said, I rather play it either in quarter note or 8 note, because to me the 16 note sound kind of crowded on the metronome, you know. But I started to practice that slow on 16 notes. You know, I didn't start at 100 in quarter note. No. I did 60 in 16 note, and gradually, okay, I speed up a little bit, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna try it on 8 notes, and then on quarter notes. So it doesn't come overnight. You have to practice it, okay?